Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. A lot of the limelight has indeed been on EZA transforming Gogeta. Now it's time to try out EZA full power SSJ BROLY in Red Zone, starting on a pretty tough stage. One of the more recent Red Zone stages, one of the hardest hitting, that being against Cooler Core. Don't forget, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, all the support is very much appreciated. Don't forget to let me know down in the comments as well how you are finding both of these new EZAs. I know a lot of people are going to say Gogeta is the best EZA TUR in the game, which he is. Also, show BROLY some love as well. Let me know how you're finding him down in the comments. Now remember, my BROLY only has one dupe in him, so while it's not at the bare minimum, it's not like a lot of yours who probably got a bit more dupes than I have, or potentially even rainbowed. This is at one dupe. Just one dupe. So, of course, quite similarly to Gogeta, transforms on the 4th turn. So while we're stuck against the Cooler army during the first 3 turns, no matter what, we're restricted to those first 3 turns. We're going to get the transformation as soon as we go into the next phase against Cooler Core. So right now, BROLY, I actually did decide to bring BROLY on a superclass team, like primarily a superclass. I say primarily, literally every single unit on the team is a superclass unit apart from him. And I actually didn't even realize this at the time. He can actually go on the Year 7 Gods leader skill of Power Beyond a Super Saiyan. Now, in terms of units he links with, he links a lot better with Saiyan units compared to any extreme units unless it's another BROLY unit. So decided to test him out and bring him on the team and have him on a main rotation lined up with Birdcoo, one of the best units and one of the best slot 1 units in the entire game. And I have to say, it worked. It worked. Obviously, BROLY being an extreme unit, he's open to a bit more damage than superclass units facing extreme units. It worked. I mean, as I said, he links very well with Saiyan units, you know, because he has links like Saiyan Warrior Race, Super Saiyan, Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle. It's very easy to link him. And it worked really well. I mean, no surprise. You have Birdcoo, as I said, one of the best units in the game. Great slot 1 unit in slot 1. Get his revival off, get the guaranteed guard. He's stacking defense the entire time. BROLY can go in slot 2. Super attack as many times as he ends up super attacking and constantly raising his defense. Now, against the Cooler Core, Cooler Army, while we're kind of stuck in his normal SSJ form, he performed well. Obviously, major advantage being type advantage. He's in slot 2. I even tried him in slot 1. He wasn't even taking, I think, more than 10k on a basic, which, considering a lot of units actually take more than that prior to supering and getting those SA effects off, taking like 10k or less pre-super is actually pretty good. I mean, BROLY's starting defense is actually pretty solid, but this is on a 170 lead, not a 200% lead. So he has, I think, just under 200k defense, maybe bang on 200k defense, but I think it's under. And he's taken 10k below, like 7k damage pre-super in slot 1, which is actually not bad. It's actually pretty good. But as I said, major advantage being in phase 1 is he has type advantage. Then once we get him in slot 2 and Birdcoo in slot 1, you know, he gets the attack and defense plus 150 at the start of turn. You know, he then gets the additional attack and defense plus 120 and launches an additional attack that has a high chance, 50% chance of becoming a super attack when facing only one enemy, which the majority of Red Zone bosses are. So he has a decent amount of defense at the start of turn while also getting that 50% attack and defense raise, which even only doing 1 super attack in this phase, he's tanking double digits. Of course, BROLY has that built-in additional with the 50% chance of launching a super attack just built into his passive. He's going to be tanking double digits and tanking the super attacks very well. Also, I have 1 dupe. A lot of you probably have a plethora of dupes, or maybe even just 1 dupe and above. And not only that, he's a Fizz unit, so he has, you know, 5 additional anyway. While it won't pop often, it's a possibility, but as I said, it's an older unit. A lot of you probably have more than 1 dupe compared to me. He has the possibility of launching 3 super attacks, so while damage doesn't really matter on that phase, he's going to be able to tank, again, double digits on the basics, and tank Cooler Army super attacks for hardly anything, especially with that type advantage. Then, moving on against the Cooler Core, which is one of the hardest hitting Red Zone bosses in the game besides BROLY, I was like, this is probably where things are going to get a little risky. Now, I'm not going to lie, for the majority of BROLY appearing against Cooler Army, I did have Whis active both times. Now, I know that doesn't show how much damage he's taking on basics, you know, without the item active, But that's part and parcel of doing red zone. You're going to use items unless you're specifically doing no item runs. And this is where BROLY starts to shine. Yes, he has a bit less defense. He does get the attack and defense plus 200% at the start of turn. But instead of the combined 120 and then 150 for facing like one enemy or two or more enemies, BROLY has the guaranteed additional in there that again has a 50% chance of becoming a super attack. It also has the additional attack plus 200%, but only gets defense plus 100% when facing only one enemy. So at the start of turn on a 170 lead, once he transforms, again, I think he has like 200k defense, which is pretty decent at the start of turn. But one of the major things with BROLY transforming is, of course, he loses the greatly raising attack and defense by 50% on super. It goes down to 30. I really wish he kept it. I'm not going to lie, because defensively he would be a hell of a lot better. But he still performed very well. Now this is where BROLY starts to shine and BROLY becomes a nuclear bomb. He is a MW2 nuke. Not only does he link actually fairly well, of course, Birdcoo, so we are getting links active, we are getting attack links active for him to be doing extra damage. And again, he's on a 170 lead, so again, he's not performing at his very best, but he's launching like 6 to 7 million attack stats off his initial super. Then he has the built-in additional, which has a 50% chance of becoming a super attack. So if he launches that, that's 2 attack and defense raises by 30%. Doing even more damage, even more defense. So again, starting from 200k. So after like 2 supers, you're looking at potentially like, I don't know, maybe like 300k defense, maybe upward, which to be fair, tanking basic against cooler core at that point, even without a Whis active, he should be able to tank them, probably not for double digits, but he'll be able to tank them fairly okay, considering he's only getting 30% on super. Then, of course, BROLY has the built-in additional super attack once he performs the 3rd super attack in battle. And while this is slightly RNG related, this can happen. I'm not sure, I can't remember if this happened on this run, but BROLY can end up, especially if you have a dupe, BROLY can super attack the initial time. If that second super he does, or if the additional that pops off in his passive happens, and that's a super attack, not only are you getting the second 30% attack and defense raise, which is important, but then if your dupe system additional happens, you can then get his 3 supers he needs to perform like ASAP, which then means he gets the guaranteed one in his passive, which of course stays active for the rest of the fight, which means BROLY can potentially super attack 4 times in one turn. Which means he's getting 30% attack and defense raise 4 times, which means he's doing 6 to 7 plus million attack stats on a 170 lead team, about 4 times, which means BROLY's doing a lot of total damage. And this is what I mean by MW2 nuke. He's doing a lot of damage in one turn. Combined with the fact he potentially may hit crits along the way, that's a lot of raw damage to be doing to enemy health, especially if he's doing that again 3 to 4 times and getting a few crits along the way. But then not only that, you have a high chance, or I don't mean specifically a high chance, but there's majority of the time you're going to be launching at least 3 super attacks in one turn anyway, because of the initial super, the built-in one, and then the guaranteed one he gets after you trigger the 3rd super attack and keep it for the rest of the battle. That's before you even include the additional. So even then, BROLY's getting 3 30% attack and defense raises, which is 90% in total, which means his defense is probably in the regions of like going towards 400k, which is probably enough to tank Cooler Core's basics for probably double digits, if not somewhere close to, without a Whis. All I know is even doing 2 super attacks and taking a basic from Cooler Core, which again, once he performs the 3rd super attack in battle and has that one guaranteed, that means you're performing at least 2, even if you're not lucky enough to get a 50% chance and potentially a dupe system additional super off as well. That means he's performing at least 2 guaranteed supers a turn, and with a Whis active, he's tanking double digits. And again, he's just doing a lot of damage because of the potential of the amount of super attacks BROLY can launch in one turn. But he defends them very well, and again, if you're launching 3 to 4 super attacks, even without a Whis, he should be able to tank Cooler Core's basics for double digits. I said it just so happens I had Whis active every time. In terms of supers, I think Cooler Core does way too much damage for even BROLY's have a Whis active, and super attack 4 times if you're lucky to actually survive it. I mean, if you had full health, he'll probably be able to survive, but without full health, probably not. But he still performs very, very well, and the damage is amazing. But let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys, and peace.